Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Acres Evolving. I didn't plan on starting this video today. The project that I have planned for this video, I'm actually starting in the morning. However, I got a notification on my phone that we're supposed to be getting some severe storms tonight, and they're saying that we could get up to softball-sized hail. Now, that would be absolutely crazy, and it's a very slim chance that I'll get softball-sized hail at my house, but I don't want to chance it. I've got some plants over on my back deck that I want to move into my plant room to protect them from the storms if they do hit. So let me go ahead and take you over there and I'll show you what plants I have over there and get them moved. Okay, so I moved all of these out here the other day so that they could get some more sun. I have my canna plants right here. All of these are doing really good. I'm ready to get them in the ground. It's still a little bit too early to get these in the ground, but here in the next couple weeks I should be able to get those planted. I have some crepe myrtle trees that I bought last year and overwintered. I have some petunias up there on top of the deck, and then I have some cuttings of the crepe myrtle tree I have in my front yard. I took some cuttings of it last year and they're all doing really good. I may do a video on that if you all are interested in how I did that. Took cuttings of that crepe myrtle and rooted them. Let me know and I'll do a video on it. I have some sedum here, a heuchera, some dichondra, and then more crepe myrtle cuttings. So I don't want these to get damaged, just in case we do have storms tonight, so I'm going to get these moved into the plant room right here. I think it's safe to say that my plant room is busting at the seams at the moment. Moving these plants back and forth out of this plant room because there's not enough light in there to keep them happy, so I do have to move them out into the sun, and then if it gets too cold at night I have to move them back in where it's heated. Has really made me start thinking that I really need to focus and get started on my permanent greenhouse that I'll have cooled in the summer and heated in the winter. It's going to make things a whole lot easier instead of having to move all those plants out and move them back in all the time. Now regarding the storms that we're getting tonight, if we get softball sized hail here, the plants are going to be the least of my worries, I think. I'm probably going to be a little bit more worried about my house, but at least these will be protected and I won't have to worry about it. Now the hostas that I just planted on the north side of this plant room, and then I have some cabbage and broccoli planted out in my vegetable garden area, those probably would not do very well if we got softball size hail. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that does not happen. Maybe I should show you all this area before, just in case something does happen. So I've still obviously got a lot of work to do out here, and I'm going to be doing a video on all this pretty soon. But in this bed right here, they're still pretty small, but they're starting to grow. I've got cabbage, and then I have 3 Brussels sprouts right here, and then I have broccoli over here. So if we get large hail, there's not much I'm going to be able to do to protect these, so we'll have to see what happens. Oh, and while I'm out here, I just want to give you an update on this. Red twig dogwood that I transplanted the other day has new growth coming up. I can't wait to see how big this gets over here. Okay, so it's the next day and we did get a little bit of rain, which is good, but the severe storms stayed south of us. I think the highest hail I saw from the storms in our area was golf ball size, which is still pretty big, but at least it didn't get up to the softball size like they were talking about. But anyway, we had a cold front move through, so it's quite a bit cooler out here, which is good for what I'm doing. I don't want it to be too hot. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing today. So this is the flower bed that I have right in front of my house, and I'm gonna be working on these hostas today. This one, and then this one over here. I have 4 up here. I have one about right here, and then I have another one about right here, but those 2 haven't popped up yet. And unfortunately, I do not remember the varieties of these. They look different, but I'm not sure of the names of them, unfortunately. These I planted in, I believe this is gonna be their 4th year. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be digging these hostas up and dividing them. And then I'm gonna be moving them out to that new flower bed that I just created a couple of videos ago. So this area up here, I'm wanting to change it up a little bit, I think. These privet hedges, the variegated privet hedges that I planted up here, these 2 are doing good, but this 3rd one over here is not looking too hot. I may just need to give it a little bit of time to catch up to these 2, but I don't think they're getting enough sun over here. This is the north side of my house, and I think that they would be much happier in a sunnier spot. So I'll eventually be pulling these out and moving them to different areas, and I'm gonna pull the hostas out, and then once it's a blank slate, I'm just gonna look at this area and decide exactly what I wanna do out here. But today, I'm gonna focus on the hostas and get those divided and moved to the new flower bed over there. So the first thing that I've gotta do, obviously, is dig these up. So I'm gonna move all these rocks out of the way. And then I'm just gonna take my shovel and dig around the plant. I wanna give enough room so I get as many of the roots as possible. So I'm just gonna dig around it and pop it out. Okay, so I have my hosta plant dug up here and moved over to this flower bed that I'm gonna plant it in. I think I'm gonna cut this plant into 4 pieces. I'm gonna cut it in the middle, and then I'll cut those 2 pieces in the middle again, and I'll be able to turn 1 hosta plant into 4. So, get you a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So basically, I'm just gonna look through here and find the middle of the plant. Okay, and I've still got rocks in here from the other flower bed. So I'm just gonna stick my shovel right here in the center. Right there, and then I'll just be able to cut this right in half. Now you can see I've got this split up into 2, and what you want to look for is all these main roots right here, this white. You just want to make sure that the hosta has some of that with it, and they'll do just fine. This side has it too. I just split it right down the middle and split that in half. So now I'm going to split these halves into 2 as well, so that I can have 4 plants. Alright, so there we go. And my neighbor dogs want some attention today. But now, instead of just 1 hosta plant, now I can plant 4 separate ones. Okay, so I got all of these divided, planted, and watered in. This one over here, I'm obviously not keeping this pot over here, but this one just popped off the side whenever I cut one of them in half. And it had a few small, very small roots on the bottom of it, so I thought I'd pot it up and see what happens. These won't get very tall at all, so I plan on buying some bigger hostas that will go in the middle and then have these smaller hostas around the edge. The 2 hostas that haven't come up yet over in that flower bed, once those start popping up, I will dig those up, and I'm probably just gonna go, depending on how many I can split them into, I'll probably just continue on around on this side and this side over here as well. Eventually, I want this entire flower bed to be completely full of plants. So I can't wait till these grow in, and I also cannot wait to get mulch. I've had a horrible time of getting a truckload of mulch in, but that should be very soon. So I obviously bought the 2 original plants that I divided. However, those 2 plants formed 8 plants. So basically I have 6 free plants here. Anytime I can divide plants or harvest seeds or propagate anything, like I propagated the crepe myrtle tree that I have in my front yard, anytime I can do that from all of my existing plants, it's a plus because it can get very expensive and the prices are only going up. So it can get very expensive to even plant up a small flower bed. So anytime I can multiply the plants that I have is a plus. As a matter of fact, I am going to my parents' house tomorrow. I may be able to talk my mom into letting me divide her hosta plants so that I can get even more. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.